Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I don't have another adventure box to open up today, but we do have this nice D-Reaper playmat that I just got. And I got it because I built a D-Reaper deck. So I figure let's take a look at it. First off, the sleeves that I have for it don't really match, but I bought these Pulsemon sleeves, so I figure I'm going to use them. Because normally I put the Digi-Eggs in white sleeves. I run out, so I need to pick up some more. But the 4 eggs that we've got this time around is the Mother D-Reaper. And you don't want a 5th one in this deck until they make like another alternate Mother D-Reaper, because you have nothing to evolve into in this deck. So it would actively hamper this deck. The Mother D-Reaper is a 15,000 DP. All turns, this Digimon can't attack and is unaffected by your opponent's cards. Or opponent card effects. So it could still be attacked into. Main once per turn. If you don't have any other Mother D-Reapers in play, you can put a Searcher from in play or your hand under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. Your turn, once per turn, when you would play a card with D-Reaper and its traits from your hand, you may reduce its play cost by 1 for each of the Digimon's Digivolution cards. So this one can't attack, so the big DP value is really to stop it from getting attacked into when it's suspended, which the only way to really suspend it is through green and their effects, because they're known for suspending. Other than that, you don't have to worry too much about it. I mean, maybe if there's a dual color deck, you'd have to worry about it a bit. But for the most part, green's for suspending. There's not too many others that can do it. So I feel like green is the biggest weakness of this. So that is the Mother D-Reaper. And I got 4 copies of that. Next, we have the Searchers. And we have a lot. We have, I had to double count because I couldn't remember off the top of my head, but we have 16 Searchers in here. And if you remember, through their own ability, you're allowed to have up to 50 of them in the deck. And you need, I think you need a fair amount in a D-Reaper deck. They're 3 play cost, 1,000 DP. You include up to 50 in your deck. When you would play this card from your hand, reduce its play cost by 2 if you don't have one out. Your turn, this Digimon can't attack players, and on play, draw 1 card from your deck. And the security effect, or the inherited effect, is all of your Digimon with D-Reaper and their traits get plus 1,000 DP. So it's only 1,000, so you're not really going to attack with it. And by the time that you would, you're pretty much in the win more scenario. You want a lot of him in there because you can put them under Mother D. You're going to need at least 7 in the deck, and you want to be able to hit that fairly often, so I would suggest doubling that number to at least 14. I put 16 in there to give me some wiggle room, and in case I need to change some other values in between duels, that I could do that with the side deck that I built, which is not very interesting, but I'll go over it. But so 16 of this one, that's a lot, but I think it's well worth it because it's just as important as Mother for this deck, in my opinion. Next up, we've got 4 copies of Pendulum Feet. He is a 3 play cost, 3,000 DP, and you get to, on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 with D-Reaper in its traits, and 1 Searcher among them to your hand. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. And so this one, because this deck is almost solely D-Reapers, it means anytime you play this guy, you're going to get to pick 2 cards off the top of your deck, as long as the other one is a Searcher. So always equipped one with 16. That's almost a fourth of your deck. Or that is over a fourth of your deck, isn't it? That you will get to... Actually, that's more like a third because you've got 5 cards in your security. So that's 45. So yeah, at least your third of your deck is searchers. So a third of the time, roughly, you will get to pick 2 cards and add them to your hand. So that's why this guy's at 4, because of the low play cost and his ability to keep getting you resources. Because in my play tests with this, a couple turns in, like around turn 5 or something like that, my hand would be almost depleted with 3 cards, and I would start running out of things to do. So having this guy to allow you to pull more is very important. Also, something I did go with on the searchers, like which one was it? I think it was Mother that says you can pull them from your hand, isn't it? That you can put it directly from your hand underneath it? Yes. You're not going to do that very often because you want to play them so that you can get the draw effect off them to just keep your momentum going. Because in normal decks, anytime you Digivolve, you're going to be able to draw an extra card. You can't do that in this deck. There are no Digivolutions. Next up, I put 2 copies of Bubbles. Because they're not too important to the deck, and I wanted to keep some other stuff. They are a 3 play cost, 3,000 DP. They've got a security effect where you may place one of your searchers from in play or in your hand under your Mother D Reaper as this bottom Digivolution card. And on play, you may place one of your searchers from in play or in your hand under your Mother D Reaper as its bottom Digivolution card. So this is going to help you speed up more, because with the searchers, if you play one, you'll get to draw a card. It's only cost 1 to come out because it's the only one on the field. Play this one, use Mother's effect to reduce it to 2, and then you get to place, or you play a second one, and then you get to play this one, and then you'll be able to put 2 down in the same turn, and it will speed up the reduction cost effect, which is very important. And then another one that I really liked was Jerry. They are a 5 play cost, 5,000 DP. Almost said Digivolution cost there. Main, you may suspend this Digimon to reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Place 1 searcher among them under your Mother D Reaper as its bottom Digivolution card. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Again, this is going to allow you to search, and you can reuse this effect. So just suspend it. Like, you play it one turn, suspend it the following turn. Look, top 5 cards, put a searcher underneath, and you can start to pile your deck how you'd want. More often than not, you're only going to get 1 use out of this before your opponent attacks into it or otherwise deletes it. Because otherwise, you'll be able to steamroll pretty fast with these by putting 2 searchers underneath Mother every single turn. 1 through the normal effect, 1 through this one's effect. And not just that, but you're also setting your deck up how you would like it. And then we've got 4 copies of Creep Hands. This is a 5 play cost, 6,000 DP. Opponent's turn, while you have a Mother D Reaper in play, this Digimon gains Blocker. I haven't been going over any of these ones' inherited abilities, because other than Searcher, they don't have any. This one is very good because when played with other cards like Jerry or Pendulum Feet, other things, or even Mother D Reaper, things that you'd want to survive, this is like a clutch kind of card to keep them out, where he'll take the hit for them. It's not going to stop things with piercing, but just redirecting could be very important, and so that could be very useful. Next up, we're starting to get into more expensive ones with 6 and above. We've got Pilates Head. He is a 6 play cost, 3,000 DP. And then his effect is main. If you have a Mother D Reaper in play, you may suspend this Digimon to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP. With 3,000, that's not a lot. But remember, for every searcher that's underneath Mother, he gains 1,000 DP, because that is what searcher does. So he will go from 3,000 to like 10,000 at the optimum point, which is when she has 7, maybe even higher. So you can just start deleting out some of the lower Digimon. And this combos in with another card that I put in this deck, which we'll get to in a bit. Then we've got 4 copies of Horn Striker. 7 play cost, 7,000 DP. Your turn, while you have a Mother D Reaper in play, this Digimon gains Rush. This Digimon can attack the turn it comes into play. So most often than not, I will have Mother out. I'll have at least 4 cards underneath her. I'll use her ability to play this one out and reduce its cost by 4. So now it's only 3, and it's an 11,000 that can just straight up attack that same turn. And so it's immediately off to the offensive. And more often than not, your opponent's going to want to get rid of this. So like if this doesn't get deleted by the security card that it attacks into, they're going to probably attack into it the following turn to get rid of it. And if not, you've got another big beefy body to start swinging in for more. And now we're getting into the really expensive ones, with 2 copies of Optimizer. This is a 10 play cost, 9,000 DP. On play or when attacking, once per turn, if your Mother D Reaper has 5 or more Digivolution cards, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play 1 card with D Reaper and its traits and a play cost of 10 or less among them without paying its memory cost. Place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. The reason why I keep this one at 2 is because, again, it's saying like Mother D Reaper has 5 or more. So this is kind of a later game kind of card. I wouldn't want to put too many in the deck to bog it down. It is also only once per turn. But it is a free card. It could be random, but again, if you're at this point, you've been stacking your deck and you've been cycling through, you've been picking out a lot of the searchers. So what's really left should be your win cards. And that's what you should find with this one. Next up, we got 2 copies of Gatekeeper. This is an 11 play cost, 10,000 DP. It's a security Digimon, so you get to play this card. Play this card without battling and without paying its memory cost. So if it's gotten off the security stack, that means that it's revealed, and then battle ends. It goes straight into the field, so it's not going to get deleted. On play, if you have a Mother D Reaper in play, recover 1 from your deck. Opponent's turn, while you have a Mother D Reaper in play with 6 or more Digivolution cards in play, all of your opponent's Digimon get security attack -1. So this is going to help fight against the red decks where they are like being able to swing in for 3 or 4 or 5, maybe even 6 security in one attack, and slow them down just that bit. At the same time, on play, you get to recover 1 to your security stack. So that's really important. It's also got the security effect where it comes out. So comes out from the security, places 1 on the security stack, and then if your D Reaper, your Mother, is strong enough, it will weaken all of your opponents. So I kept it at 2 because of that large pay cost. It is a very late game kind of play for me. I wouldn't want to put it any more at 2 just because I'm worried about breaking into it in early game. And then the final Digimon that we've got is we got 2 copies of Reaper. They are 20 play cost, 15,000 DP. When you would play this Digimon, you may trash 7 or more cards from the bottom of your Mother D Reaper to reduce its play cost to 0. Rush, this Digimon can attack the turn it comes into play. When attacking, you may place 2 searchers from your trash under this Digimon in any order as Digivolution cards to unsuspend this Digimon. So, in theory, like with this one, you could remove the 7 from Mother D Reaper, play it out, attack with it, place 2 from the trash underneath it, unsuspend, attack with it again, place 2 more underneath it, unsuspend, attack a third time, place 2 more underneath it, unsuspend, and then attack once more because 7, you can only do that 3 times. And that'll place all of the searchers that were underneath Mother underneath this one. If you can manage to get 8, you could do it 5 times. So like 1 from its normal and then 4 more attacks from the unsuspending. And it would just keep buffing it as it went on. So that's one of the reasons why I only put it at 2. Because it's a win card. And again, if you draw this early on, you're going to be bricked. There's no way that you could play the 20. So yeah, that's why I kept this one at 2. Now we have 4 Tamers, and starting off, we've got the 4 Digimon Emperors. He's a 3 play cost. All turns, when one of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon is deleted, you may suspend this Tamer to draw 1 card. And your opponent's turn, when one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon is moved from their breeding area to their battle area, gain 2 memory. Security effect, play this card without paying its memory cost. So really, you're going to be using Pilates Head or some of your other Digimon to delete your opponent's Digimon, and that's going to proc that draw card, which again, as I said earlier, this deck towards late will start to fizzle out because you don't have enough draw power. With other Digimon decks, you're like digivolving constantly, so you're constantly pulling more cards. In this deck, there is no digivolving, so you don't get those cards. So being able to just suspend this and get an extra card is great. I had a game where I had 3 of them out, and I suspended Pilates Head, got to delete one of theirs, drew 3 cards, and that forces the opponent to go after Pilates Head to take him out, so that I don't get to draw 3 cards every single time. And the second effect slows down the opponent, where if they've got a rookie in their breeding area, they've got to think, like, do I really want to give him 2 memory? Alternatively, if you've got multiple of these guys, you're then giving 4 memory, 6 memory, 8 memory. And that is too much, and that's going to slow them down even more to kind of match with your slow of card draws. And the last cards in this deck are for emergency program shutdowns. This is a simple 3 cost. Main, your opponent can't use option cards until the end of their next turn. Security effect, your opponent can't use option cards this turn, then add this card to its owner's hand. Because we don't have any option cards in this deck other than this one, it's a good idea to play it in there to kind of handicap their deck. Because they've built their deck with the idea of option cards being in it. And so you are taking out basically, like, I would say, normally I would say a third, because like I'm thinking like Magic or Overpower or Yu-Gi-Oh or some of those other games where it's like you've got monster cards, you've got sorcery cards, you've got trap cards. But in this one, like, you've got Tamer cards and you've got option cards and you got Digimon cards, but there's a lot of Digimon, but there's not as many Tamer cards. So you may be able to take out a fourth of their deck with this, maybe up to a third with this card. And so that is just a great thing to have in your pocket, where like if they're using a lot of option cards in your first match, then you know playing this would help slow them down a lot more. Same way with the Digimon Emperor. As for a side deck, I did build one, but it's really just more searchers, and all the other ones that I only had 2 of, I put their other 2 copies in here, just so that, again, if I'm playing versus a certain deck and I'm seeing some things like that continue to happen, like I'm continuously needing bubbles, or they're continuously getting a lot of my security, like maybe I want to swap them out, maybe I want to take the Reapers out, maybe I'm not pulling enough of the searchers as I thought I would, maybe there's a certain one that's just not being useful, then I could take them out, put more searchers in. So yeah, that is the side deck. Pretty simple and straightforward. There's not too much alternation you can do with this deck, just because like all of them are white, so you are really limited to white option and white tamer cards, unless you put in different color tamers. But I feel like Digimon Emperor really fits well with this playstyle, so that pigeonholed me into only having white option cards. Sure, I could put other color option cards in there and hope they come up in the security stack, but that's silly thinking. But there is my D-Reaper deck. Before we go, like I do with all, or like I like to do with all my things, I have 1 pack of Digital Hazard that I bought separately when I bought the 2 boxes, just because I'm like, I might need to do this. I might need to have this. So let's see what we can pull out of this 1 pack. Can we find anything exciting? We got a Lopmon, Growlmon, Strike Dramon, High Speed Plugin D, Horn Striker, Offensive Plugin A, Pilates Head, Bubbles, another Hopmon, Jerry, Takato, 3 play cost. Your turn, when an opponent's Digimon is deleted, you may suspend this tamer to gain 1 memory. Your turn, when one of your Digimon would Digivolve into a Digimon with Gallantmon or Growlmon in its name, that Digimon gains when Digivolving Blitz. This Digimon can attack when your opponent has 1 or more memory for the turn. Security effect, play this card without paying its memory cost. Going to be great in Guillaumon deck, not too many others. And we got another Gallantmon. We pulled 3 this week. 12 play cost, 4 Digivolution cost, 12,000 DP. Your turn, this Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP. Your turn, while you have a red tamer in play, add 2,000 to the maximum DP. You can choose with DP-based deletion effects. When attacking, choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose total DP adds up to 6,000 or less, and delete them. This one, again, as I said before, is a little more malleable. You can put it in any kind of red deck, because his effect doesn't necessarily need to be comboed with Guillaumon or Takato. So he's pretty good. Since I pulled 3, I may just try and build a deck with them. But with that, we have finished this video. We have taken a look at my D-Reaper deck. What do you think? Could I have improved it? What would you have put in? What would you have taken out? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up. I would definitely appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I'm really wanting to get to that 100 subscribers. I really appreciate everyone that has subscribed. And until then, I will see you next time.